Hey guys, welcome back. Today's lesson is going to be on adaptations, and more specifically, how have adaptations to the environment influenced the evolution of animals? The most important thing to start off with is that knowing that all living things change to fit their environment. Whether it's animals or plants, they all have certain adaptations that are going to help them survive. What exactly are adaptations? Adaptations are going to be anything that's passed down from parent to offspring that helps that organism to survive long enough to reproduce more successfully in its changing environment. This can be broken up into two different categories: structural, meaning that it's what it looks like, or behavioral, how that organism acts. We're going to start with structural adaptations of animals. Structural adaptations are going to be the actual body parts or coloration that help an organism to survive in their environment. Some examples of this include camouflage, mimicry, bent hind legs, sharp teeth and claws, and body structures. When we look deeper into camouflage or coloration, it basically means that it's blending in with the environment for protection from predators, or it's predators that want to blend in so that they can sneak up on their prey. The main use of this is that they can obtain food and protection. The next type of structural adaptation is called mimicry. This is an evolved resemblance between an organism and another object. Basically, what this means is that we have a certain organism that is evolved to look almost identical to a different type of organism. The reason why these species do this is to protect themselves from different predators. It's basically an anti-predator adaptation. So if we look at the bottom, one of these examples is the monarch butterfly and the viceroy butterfly. Both look identical. One is poisonous, one is non-poisonous. The viceroy butterfly is thought to have adapted over time to look like this poisonous butterfly to fend off predators. Shape of teeth is another type of adaptation that organisms can have. Flat teeth helped those animals to grind their food. Sharp teeth help the meat eaters cut their food. Other types of structural adaptations include chemical defenses. So a lot of organisms will release venom, like a snake, ink, like an octopus, and sprays, like beetles and skunks, to avoid consumption. Another type of structural adaptation are the location of eyes. What we've seen is that a lot of prey type animals have eyes on the side of their head. This makes it so they can see around, and basically they have a better angle to watch out for the predators that might be hunting them. Predators are known to have mostly eyes facing forward. Better vision helps them to really focus in on the prey that they are hunting. This next slide shows a bunch of different types of structural adaptations. Top corner, we have a porcupine. Those pines are pokey parts. Basically, they can fend off predators that way. Giraffes, we know, have long necks so that they can reach the food in higher places. Kangaroos have a pouch so that they can protect their young. Flying squirrels have sort of like a parachute to their skin so they can float from one tree to the other. Dolphins have a lot of different adaptations. Most prominent one would probably be their fins. Eagles have sharp claws, pointy beaks, and great eyesight so that they can see their prey from up above. Poisonous dart frog is able to fend off its predators with the poison. And then finally, the last animal in the bottom right corner has bent hind legs. This makes it so they can run fast, escape from their predators, and it's good for locomotion. So we have spent a lot of time talking about the structural portions of animals. The next type of adaptation is behavioral. So when we look at these behavioral adaptations, it's really looking at the instinct of the animal. It's basically like pre-programmed knowledge passed down from parent to offspring so that that animal knows exactly how it should act in order to better to survive. So behavioral adaptations are ways that an organism acts to help them survive in their environment. Examples of this include migration, hibernation, warning calls, mating dances, and hunting in packs. Migration is something that I bet you all know about. It's the seasonal or periodic movement of animals in responses to changes in climate, food availability, or to ensure reproduction. Basically, the three reasons why anything would want to move over long distances is because of the weather changing, if there's no food available, or if they need to go find mates. Migration most commonly involves the movement going to one area and then coming back again. Down at the bottom, you'll see 4 examples of this: whales, monarch butterflies, geese, and salmon. All 4 of these organisms have a behavioral adaptation so that they migrate and go back to their original area after that migration is done. Hibernation is when an animal basically becomes inactive during the winter and all of the body processes slow down. So when cold weather hits, most animals have to eat a large amount of food to obtain the energy needed for the organism to actually survive during hibernation. A few examples of this include bears, chipmunks, squirrels, and bats. Living in groups is also another behavioral adaptation. In the animal world, the more the merrier. Living in groups means that there are more eyes in the group to watch out for predators or more in the group to help hunt. Lions are a great example of this. When lions travel in packs, there's more of a chance for them catching their prey. Walruses and fish are also another type of organism that likes to live in groups. Mostly this is done for protection. When there are more of them, it's harder for a predator to specifically pick out one to hunt. Other examples of behavioral adaptations include tool use. In the far left picture, you're going to see a monkey with a stick. That monkey is manipulating that stick in order to perform a specific task, which is hunting for food inside of the tree. The middle picture is a possum playing dead. By pretending that they are dead, mostly possums can escape bodily harm when they feel like they're threatened. The last is a type of owl using a threatening gesture. This scares off potential predators. There's also a lot of different types of reptiles that do this. Basically, they want to look meaner than they are to fight off that potential predator. Now we've talked a lot about animal adaptations. This next part is going to talk about plant adaptations. So all living things adapt to their environment. This means that animals are not the only organisms to adapt. Things like water lilies, cattails, and cactuses are all great examples of plants that have adapted to better survive in their environment. One of the adaptations that plants use to get food is that leaves and stems absorb energy from the sun. The bigger the leaf, the more sun it's able to capture. Behavioral adaptations to get food are plants lean or grow towards the sun. The roots grow down into the soil. Vines climb up trees to catch sunlight, and plants like the Venus flytrap capture insects for food. So all of these things basically help that plant get more nutrients or get more energy from the sun, and they're basically fighting for that area to get that sunlight. Plants also have adaptations to get water and nutrients. So if we look at the structural parts of this, roots grow down into the ground, they soak up the water and get the nutrients from the soil. So basically the plants that are able to find the most area for their roots, they're going to be able to get the most nutrients. Behavioral adaptations to get water and nutrients. A great example of this is desert flowers. They can stay dormant for months, but only come to life when it rains. In order to reproduce, it's a lot different than animals. They have to try to attract different types of organisms to the plant so that that organism can carry pollen or the seeds far away so that that plant can reproduce. So some of the adaptations that some of these examples have are that brightly colored flowers with nectar attract pollinators such as birds, bees, and insects. The idea is that the brighter the flower, the more attractive it's going to be to those butterflies and birds. Butterflies and birds are going to come in, pick up some of that pollen as they're trying to get the nectar for food, and then they'll carry off that pollen to other areas, making it so that the plant can reproduce. Other examples are that sweet fruit attracts animals that spread seeds far away. So the middle-ish picture are some berries. When an animal like a bear or even a human comes in and eats those, they can drop the seeds along the way and spreading those seeds so that that fruit-bearing tree can regrow once again. Some seeds are also shaped to catch the wind. So very last picture, great example of how those seeds get picked up by the wind, swept away, and eventually those can reproduce as well. Plants also have to defend for themselves. So spines and thorns are great for this. They protect the plants from predators. Poison ivy and poison oak also have toxins that give predators a painful, itchy rash. Humans have definitely seen all four of these examples, and we know that we need to even keep far away from them based on their defense mechanisms. So we have talked a lot about plant and animal adaptations, whether it's what they look like or how they act. But the main underlying point to this entire presentation was figuring out how do these adaptations or changes in the environment influence animals to actually change. So the main idea of this is that when we change an organism's environment, it forces that organism to adapt and fit the new environment, eventually causing it to evolve into a new species. So I'd like you guys to take a little bit of time, think about how a brown bear might be related to a polar bear and what types of changes would have needed to happen in order for that polar bear to evolve into what it is today. All right, my presentation is over. I just wanted to give you guys a quick reminder that your research is due today. Please reach out to your science teacher if you have any questions. We'd be more than happy to help you. Hope you guys are staying safe. We miss you all. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.